Here with Miami coach Anthony Noreen ahead of this weekend's home series against number 4 Western Michigan, and we'll take some questions.
Another box checked, Coach, going on the road, winning a conference road series, sweeping a conference road series. Hadn't been done in quite a while, and also winning in that building. Hadn't been done quite a while, much less sweeping in that building. So your thoughts now a few days past St. Cloud?
Yeah, I mean, I think that point is very good, and obviously something we drew, I think, some momentum and some encouragement, a little bit of a chip on our shoulder from. I think the bigger thing is just how we did it and what it took and the price that we paid, and the commitment level we had. And that to me is win or lose. That was what was most important. Like who we want to be and what we want to be as a program. I think you saw that. We've got to build on that. We've got to, certainly hold an accountable level to that, and that's our standard here. That's the way we play. That is the way we sacrifice. That's what it looks like. And you're going to like the results a lot of nights when you do that.
The commitment level was at maybe the highest it's been in the last 3 minutes Friday night, the last 4 minutes on Saturday night. So, and empty net at the other side, wide ice, so they were keeping it in the zone, keeping the pressure on nonstop. Your guys eating pucks, blocking shots left and right with their body, their legs, their sticks, their head. Drobes making saves. So what goes in? What's a mentality like to get the guys to buy into that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that we train the way we do. There's a reason we practice the way we do. There's a reason that we, as a coach, it's a coaching staff, you get to pick what you celebrate, like what you show in video, what you call out for good or for bad. And we've made a very pointed effort to, from day one, like these are the things we're going to celebrate. The things that are a choice that anybody is capable of doing, we are going to celebrate those things. We're going to call those things out. We're going to call them to the floor, and we're going to make sure guys get notoriety for it. And if you're not getting notoriety for it, it should be very clear to you what we're looking for as a staff, because you want to be in those clips and you want to be the guy that's seen doing that, because at the end of the day, it's still hockey, and it's as hard and grinding and grueling and demanding of a game as there is. Obviously, we love scoring goals and you love the playmaking and all that stuff too, but the stuff that's a choice, I mean, this program, like we got to be perfect in those areas, and obviously that was a really good team, and they pushed hard at the end, and both nights, and it was felt like those last couple of minutes were a lifetime. But having said that, there's nothing better than that. It's nothing better than being in those moments and being in that, whatever you want to call it for the guys, a flow state of but trusting that, hey, that guy's staring it down. I know he's going to block it. And when it's my turn, I'm going to block it. And if it gets by me, I know what that guy's going to do back there. And, it was well earned. Those are hard fought games. I mean, two just great hockey games that, you feel certainly they probably could have went either way. And, you find your way on the right side of them. You usually got to earn it.
Celebrating those little things and recognizing those little things, and while keeping focus, checking off boxes, winning on the road in the conference or sweeping on the road in the conference. How do you as a coaching staff sort of balance that, like, boost of confidence, keep that going, celebrate the wins where you can, while maintaining that focus to keep looking ahead to the next game? Yeah, I mean, I think if you walk around here and all, and we're not a big signage or quote, or like, we've got our core values and they're up on the wall, and if you walk by our weight room, everyday player, everyday program, and one of our core values is discipline. I mean, doesn't matter what you feel like, doesn't matter when it is, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what the score is. We pound the rock. We want to play the right way till the very last second every single game. Very easy for me and us to say, a choice for the guys to go out and do it. And again, that's something we've got to continue to build on. And there's still obviously areas in our game that we need to clean up. But those things of just building a foundation of what a program needs and what a culture is, is there for. We feel like there's been some strides, and it's been strides based on those guys sitting in that room and good choices they've made. About a month ago, we're coming off the Arizona State series and talked about the really amazing team defense that the team played. And it seems like each week since then, they've gotten even better. And I think last weekend might have been the best team defense that they've played all season. At least matches what they've done in those previous games. Have you been able to not just maintain that, but keep getting better on the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably not dissimilar to our offense, which I think if you look, we probably have as balanced of scoring as any team in the country, I'd like to think. And I think it's been very similar on the defensive end. It's commitment from 6 guys, and It's being intentional in meetings. It's thinking your way through practice and through drills, knowing that they matter, and because those things show up when the lights are on Friday and Saturday nights, and then going out and executing and trusting in the guy next to you, and knowing that, we defended well, and that was a good team, and it's only going to get harder this weekend. So, you never know what moment is going to be the moment. You've seen it with Western. They're a team that teams will hang in there with them for 5-minute, 10-minute, 12-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute stretches, and then they seem to find that moment where they break loose and they'll put 3 on you in a minute and a half, and they've done it to just about everybody in the last couple of years. That's why they're the best team in the country. I don't think it's up for discussion. So until someone's knocking them off, I don't see that being any different. And so we've got to be even better. We've got to take that, learn from it, grow, be better, put it in our back pocket, but realize hey, that's you got to do it every single time.
Last time you played Western, it was a different part of the season. You'd had lots of success going into that series, going up to Kalamazoo, but you had so many new guys coming onto the program this year that maybe didn't quite fully understand what it was like to go up to Kalamazoo to play at Lawson Arena. And obviously they haven't gotten any worse since then as well. But your guys maybe have learned the identity even more that you've been trying to build. So what's the difference between November at Kalamazoo and this weekend?
Yeah, I'm sure both teams are thinking, we've gotten a ton better. We've grown a lot tighter. Our game has certainly grown. Individuals have grown, but we just think our team game has tightened up a lot, and they flat out beat us. They beat us Friday night, and they beat us Saturday night. We felt at that point of the season that could be used as something that we could springboard from and really learn from if we handled it the right way. If we were humbled by it and just got back to work and just didn't let it, don't let it discourage us. Don't let it ruin our spirit or what we believe in what we're doing. But we've got to tighten some things up. We've got to grow in a lot of areas. We've got to get much better if we want to have a better chance the next time, we're up against that same team. And obviously, what's gone on here since has made for, us putting ourselves in a position to get them at home on a Friday night. I'm sure they're just what we've seen from them. To me, last year, even the situation we were in and playing them at the end of the year, they were hungry every time they took the ice. And again, you learn from every team you play against and how did they get to where they got and why were they able to do. So we've got to be ready to go. And, we had a really good day at practice today. We've got to have another really good day tomorrow. We've got to get appropriate amount of rest. And, man, it is going to be 120 minutes, maybe more of you want to see hockey. This is going to be real hockey.
There's definitely postseason feel to it, without a doubt. Drew was talking about the team defense that you put up really since the second half of the season or post-Christmas. And obviously the backstop, Matteo drove back the second time this month, named goaltender of the month. You're going to be going up against a guy that's drove back goaltender of the week. You're going up against a goalie that's goalie of the month. And Hampton Slukinski led him to a national championship last year. So maybe talk a little bit about the two goaltenders this week.
Yeah. Obviously you have yet to ever see a good team that doesn't have an elite goaltender. And obviously last year, I think their guy was as good as any player in the country. And that there's a level of confidence that it brings to your team to know, hey, we are defending well, we are playing well, but we know if we do that, make that mistake or here or there, that guy back there is capable as well. And I think when he's chest up and shoulders up and feeling confidence, it bleeds into your team. And I think that's certainly something they've got. And it's the way Drobes has been going about his business lately, his games, but the way he takes care of himself, the way he prepares, the way he practices, the type of person and teammate he is, the type of student athlete he is. He's put himself in that type of position.
You, again, going into a series like this against a Western Michigan team, number 4 in the country, but Miami all of a sudden now is maybe not the surprise that maybe you were before Christmas, and people are taking notice of what Miami is accomplishing right now. And I ask you this on Saturday night before the game, expectations before the season with 21 new guys versus maybe wishful of what you hope you can accomplish versus what the expectations are now and what they're becoming. How do you kind of temper that to make it just a one game at a time mentality?
Yeah, I think that's why you put at the forefront what we expect in what the standard is around here and what our core values are and what matters to us. And those things matter whether we win or lose. They matter on Monday, they matter on Saturday, and it has nothing to do with winning or losing. Now, we like to think if we live to that standard and we embody our core values, we're going to give ourselves a chance every night. And at the very least, people that support us are going to watch and be like, that's a team I could get behind, win, lose, or draw. But that's why I just think it's to just value a win or a loss. Like I think it goes further than that. It's how you play the game, and it's how committed you are and what you're willing to do for each other. And it's how you grow over the course of a game and a season. And this team certainly. I mean, this is a matchup that you're going to find out a lot about yourself. Like I said, last time we played them, we were humbled. I don't know where. Maybe would you say they're ranked 4th? Like I don't know. I don't know if there's I think the next 2 teams we're playing, if there's 2 teams better than them, I'd like to see them. But they, they're going to challenge us in a lot of different ways. And I think, being able to stick to our game and be consistent and not let anything get us off kilter, I think is going to be a huge point of that. And obviously, I think every time you go through it, like we did last weekend, and you're on the road and you feel that, and they were pushing, and you grow from it, and you learn from it, and what it takes. So we've got to continue to do that. But man, it's exciting to be in this fight, and I know what the excitement's like around campus, and I know what from our administration to the student body to the athletic department. That is something that we take very seriously and something that we think is really important.
Alumni weekend this weekend, recognize alumni on Saturday. Just kind of talk about that connection, past and present of the program.
And that's where I was getting with that. Like, I always say guys play their best games usually when mom's in the crowd, dad's in the crowd, family's in the crowd. We've talked a ton, in this bill. Like, yes, winning is part of it, but it is getting this program back to the point where everyone that's a part of it can be proud of the direction it's going in and feels a pride level and wants to wear their Miami hoodie or hat or say, hey, I played there, or my nephew played there, or whatever it might be. And we've talked a lot about the alumni. We've had our guys interact with the alumni. I mean, it's hard in a short period of time to get so many new guys to understand the history and the tradition and how this program got to where it got, and the work and the blood, sweat, and tears, and the Coach Katie's and the people that made this place what it is. And having those guys around this weekend is very meaningful. And the list keeps growing, which is awesome. Seeing the guys that want to come back from all different eras, and a lot of the guys we've gotten a chance as a group, the team included, to meet over the course of the year. Certainly, having Rick Corrali, having a remembrance for him on Saturday night, and having Sean around, and a lot of his teammates. That is going to be really special. I mean, we wore the number 9 on our helmet this year for a reason, and I think the love and the camaraderie that's brought from a lot of people connected to both Sean and Rick, of how special this place is beyond hockey. And you say brotherhood, that's the brotherhood. That's when it matters. That's when it's meaningful, is when you need them the most, and the people that are around you, and the people that care, and the people that show up. And we as a staff will never forget the people that are around in last year and supported, and now trying to get as many people back around it. And it's awesome, and we're going to have those guys included in as much stuff as we can this weekend. We want our guys to be around them. We want them to hear the stories. We want them to have an extra sense of pride, and when they take the ice, and hey, it's not just me. And this is way bigger than me. This is these guys, and this is what they went through and who they represent, and it is extremely important, especially at this place.
And to take that even a step further, having all those alumni back in town, what we've seen home crowd advantage can do on the basketball side of things and what they're accomplishing across campus, how important now is it to get this building packed week after week, game after game?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of when we talk about building a program. It's, re-engaging the alumni. It's making sure that this is, something that the student body and the community can rally around, and filling this place. And, again, that's, you talk about hearing the stories, like the guys that were around the preseason and that were around for alumni weekend in the golf tournament, told these guys that this is the best. Every one of those guys told us that when this place is going and the hockey team is going, there's no better place in the world to play hockey. And we've had guys that said, including my NHL careers, there's no place that compares to this when it's going on a Friday and Saturday night and the team is rolling. And, we've gotten some tastes of that. And, it's certainly, I think our guys have earned that. Now we've got to continue to build on that and grow that. And, this is, especially with what's going on with the basketball team and what their crowds are like. And, man, if we get pieced together, another sellout and get that, like, I think it's a really cool thing about our campus right now is I think the student body, maybe people that were a little bit engaged or kind of engaged or weren't engaged or are new here, realizing, like, man, this is a pretty special place this should be the social event and outing of the week to go see the women's basketball team, the men's basketball team, the hockey game on a Friday night, because, man, these guys represent us and we want to get behind them.
One guy who represents your team really well and just reminds me of a throwback to some of the alumni guys that'll be back here this weekend. David Deputy, recognized as the Rookie of the Month in the NCHC. Talk about his development, his game, and where he's at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's, we talked last week, I think it was, just about obviously his start, with coming in and injury and then getting injured in the first game and him kind of just getting up to speed. And obviously, every time you guys ask, we're like, hey, this is a guy, not unlike the rest of the guys, but for different reasons that we are really excited about. And we think that is going to be a fan favorite here just because the way he plays the game, the pace he plays the game, how he could break a game open. And I think he's just in a really good rhythm right now. And that is not just a when the bright lights are on thing. I think where he's really taken a huge jump. And part of it is, I give Troy a ton of credit for the work that he's done with him in that forward group of just being intentional and realizing how important every single time you get a chance to do something in practice, whether it's a warm-up drill on a Monday, a skills session on a Tuesday, a morning skate on a Friday, when you are intentional and when you grow and you get better in through those reps, it shows up in your game. And I think depths of anybody has been a guy that's grabbed onto that. Like, you talk about someone, he wants the moment. He wants the puck. He wants to win. He wants to score. He expects those things to happen. But he also backs it up the way he practices and the way he goes about his business every day. So good to see him get rewarded. And I think, again, speaks and builds excitement for, what not just what he's going to do now, but what he can do long term in his game and certainly for us here at Miami.
One final thing, we're going to be talking to Matteo Giampa. Got him back to the lineup. How important was it to have him back in his leadership? Guy is, for the third year in a row now, nominated for the Hobie Baker recognition, at least as a nominee. And then having him on the same line with Ilya Morozov kept them together, kind of juggled things around just a little bit. But the fact, having those consistent lines out there, how important is that?
Yeah, again, I go back to our depth scoring, and he just adds more depth. And getting him back in the lineup is huge. His pace, his playmaking, again, the ability to break a game open, but also just when he's on and he's playing the right way, he's a load for any other team to handle. The NCHC, out of conference, doesn't matter. His combination of physicality and skating and his love for the game and what he puts into it, he puts our team at a different level. And I think last weekend he's kind of getting back up to speed. Had a good week of practice this week, and we're excited to see what he's able to do this weekend.
Here with Matteo Giampa ahead of this weekend's home series against number 4 Western Michigan, and we'll take some questions.
Matteo, big weekend this past weekend up in St. Cloud. First time the team has gone on the road in conference and swept a series. What did that mean for the guys? What did it take going in there and taking those 2 games up in St. Cloud?
It took a lot. I think we just stuck to the game plan and play it how we want to and stick to the system and just play to our identity and I think we did a good amount of that for most part of both games, so it was good enough to get both wins.
Sometimes on the road it's not easy to maybe establish the way that you want to play your game, play your style of game, and then you're doing it on the bigger sheet of ice as well. So how much of an adjustment was all of that on the road, trying to play your style of game, because it did seem like you were able to dictate the play?
Yeah, I think it actually might have benefited us a little bit. I think we're a fast-paced team, and we can skate really good. So that bigger ice probably helped us out a little bit, and we felt good. I think there was not too many adjustments that we had to make.
The last 3 minutes Friday night, they had the extra attacker. The last 4 minutes on Saturday night, they had the extra attacker. You guys were eating pucks. Droback was making saves. Walk us through kind of those last 7 minutes of those 2 nights.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a testimony to how we play as a team, and everybody's bought in, and just those last couple minutes of the game, like you were saying, you saw probably 15 block shots. Like it was pretty impressive, and almost laughing on the bench, just like watching everything, because I've never seen anything like that. So. But that's how we need to win. If everybody's bought in, I think, we have the game to beat anybody.
Seemed like over the course of those last 3 and 4 minutes in each of those games, pretty tough. You've eaten all those pucks, but pretty tough to clear it out. What were they able to do so well to keep it in the zone and keep that pressure on?
Well, I think it was just a bigger rink, and, they know how to use that. Obviously, that being their home rink, so they knew how to space everybody out and kind of keep control of the puck. And I think, end of the day, we did a good job keeping the puck out of our net, so that's all that really matters.
There we go. Missed a handful of games. How did it feel to be back out there? Your first weekend back in a little bit. So how did it feel to be back and be able to be out there with the guys?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Sitting in the stands, knowing that you can't play is a tough feeling. But I was really excited to hop back in there with the guys, and getting a couple wins definitely added to that. But yeah, I'm just really excited for this upcoming weekend, and we're rolling right now, so it's good.
I know with your mentality, it's team first, and it's all about getting the team win, and that's what matters. But you were leading the team in goals, and now Helgi's got 10, Deps has 11. What's sort of that sort of fun competition like inside the locker room?
Yeah, I guess we're always competing with each other, but I mean, at the end of the day, doesn't matter who scores. We're just trying to win games, and at the end of the day, that's what really matters. But I'd be lying to say if we all didn't like to score goals. So, yeah.
Looking ahead to this weekend, you've got a team that you played earlier in the season. You guys are playing at a really high level right now. A lot of changes just in the sort of the locker room coming together and figuring out your roles on the ice. What makes you a different team coming into this weekend against Western versus last time out?
Well, I think it's just we've played longer together. I think that's what it is, and as the season goes by, everybody starts to buy into the system a little bit more, and little details are cleaned up, and I think we've definitely done a really good job of that. Western's definitely going to see it, but in saying that, Western's definitely a better team than they were when we played them last time. So, we should gotta put our right foot forward and do our best.
When you did play them last time around, so many new guys were on the team. That was the first conference road series of the year back in November. So, not making any excuses whatsoever. What did you guys learn? Were you maybe, I don't want to say not prepared, that's not the right word, but maybe unaware of what it was going to be like going to a place in a building like that with that kind of atmosphere that they have there?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think there's only a handful of guys who've actually played there, so it's definitely a different animal when you go in there for the first time. It was a little bit of a shock, even though we were kind of expected it, but I guess they're going to see what we got here at the Goggins, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, hopefully the building's going to be packed this weekend, obviously, and I know you guys are all sports fans, so you know what's going on campus with the basketball team as well. So what's it kind of like here for you to be a new student here at Miami this year, but just to see this whole kind of renaissance turnaround between football, basketball, and what you guys are accomplishing?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is kind of what you think about when you think about an American college. Just football, basketball, hockey. I mean, it's pretty special what the basketball team's doing, obviously, and pretty special what we're doing. And, even the football team, what they did, it was pretty entertaining to watch. I went to go see a couple of the basketball games a couple weeks ago, and probably one of the most entertaining games I've ever watched. So it's cool, yeah. And
we need to have that atmosphere in here this weekend. So you coming in here, 21 new players on this team. I don't know, realistic expectations versus what you want to accomplish and what you're hoping to accomplish. What's the difference between maybe what you thought maybe back in September, October, and where you're at now? Because this is for real now. You're in February, you're in fifth place, fighting for potential home ice advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we kind of expected it going in. Even though everybody was new, we knew we had a group that was going to buy in, and the mentality really hasn't changed since the starting of the year. I mean, I think we're doing so well because we've kept that mentality, and every day we just keep chipping away at the rock, and eventually we're going to break through.
How about your line mates for the good chunk of the season before you got hurt? You were with Ilya and Kocha on the line together. That kind of got switched up a little bit. Injuries will do that. So tell me about playing with those two guys, with Ilya and Delic at the beginning of the year, and what you guys accomplished.
I think we played pretty good together. I think we definitely produced a lot and helped the team not only offensively but defensively, and we just got to keep that going. I think us on different lines might pose a little bit different threats, and we just got to keep that going into this weekend and the rest of the season.
Seems like a lot of your goals have been really timely, and whether it's to tie it up or game winner, have a good number of game winners this year. What is it about the pressure that you're able to deliver and step it up even another level?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think that's just kind of what I like to do. I like to play in big moments, and when there's a couple minutes left in the game and game's on the line, that's kind of where I want to be, and I want to be in those situations, and I know a lot of other guys on the team want to be in those situations too. So I guess I've just been fortunate enough the puck's found me in some areas, and yeah.
Big players step up in big times, and they're also named to the Hobie nominee list. So how does it feel to be named to that Hobie list?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. End of the day, it's just an award though. So what we really want to do is just win as many games as we can, and hopefully win that big trophy at the end of the year. So that's what really matters. Sure.
That's the one you're actually going after. Third time that you've been nominated for Hobie, twice at Canisius as well. One last thing, awards. One of your line mates at different points of the season, or maybe not. I don't think you guys were on a line together, but David Deputy named the conference Rookie of the Month. Tell me about what that kid brings to the lineup.
Well, I think you see it almost every single game now. I think, he's extremely fast, and, like our team, he's definitely finding his footing. I think he has, I don't even know how many goals he has in the last 10 games, but, he's definitely finding his way, and we just need him to keep going. And, the more people that can step up and bring offense and do their part, I think the better chance we have at winning.